Okay, we're going to go ahead and call our meeting to order at, 11:40. I guess our numbers have been affected a little bit by the rain today. All right, so we're going to ask that everybody look over the minutes so we can get those approved.
The minutes are actually from February 29th, not March 29th, so I apologize for that mistake on the agenda. It's just on the agenda, though, it's not on the actual minutes.
Okay. Well, you send it to the rest of us to prove too, and we don't always catch it. All right, if we don't see any changes that need to be made, if I can get a motion to approve the minutes, and if you will just state your name for Alyssa.
Ryan called
Okay.
it.
Sorry, our first and second?
Yeah, Ryan called in the motion.
Okay. All the time seconds. Okay. If no opposed, we'll all in favor. All right. Do we have any new members here with us today? No. Oh, okay. If you don't mind standing up and letting everybody know who you are. Thank you so much for being here with us today, and welcome. All right, let's see. What all we got on here? Okay. So, we get on the right one here. Okay. So on reach updates, the only thing that I've actually got that I was going to share is the results from our prescription drug take-back event that we had at the end of April. For our Waxahachie location, we took in 8 boxes, which totaled 209 pounds, and I think we were probably a little over 600 for the entire county, so that was really good. That's a lot of prescription and over-the-counter medications to take in. I don't actually have anything else at this time to share, so I am going to move it to Ginger for the WISD counseling update. Okay.
Do you want me to stand here or stay by Sherry? There it is. Sherry, just because I don't think I mentioned this to you, we're going to do the Zoom at noon. So just so you know.
It's up here. Hi, everyone. I want to, at the end of the year, I just wanted to give us an update of all of our mental health resources, things that we have approved through our SHAC committee, just where we're at, what we saw for our numbers for 23-24.
First of all, we do a tiered counseling system in Waxahachie ISD. I gave you a copy of our counseling support services. It's a lot. Yes, I know Officer Dickinson wants to read that later, not now, but I'll just hit the highlights. Tier 1 and Tier 2 are provided on campus from our campus counselors. Those are guidance lessons in the classroom. Those are also small group and one-on-one with the school counselor. Tier 3 is a support by small groups, but it's provided from outside agencies. Reach Council comes in and does substance abuse at our secondary campuses, and then Next Steps does small groups also at our secondary campuses with our students with high needs. Tier 4 and Tier 5 are provided, that's the ones I'm gonna highlight today. Tier 4 and Tier 5 is provided by Next Steps, Mind Above Matter, and MST, our multi-systemic therapy. And we're gonna go over those numbers. So Tier 4, the first one we're gonna talk about is Next Steps. Next Steps is our, they provide one-on-one mental health counseling across all of our campuses in WISD. I included the screenshot there. It's kind of hard for you guys to see, but you'll see where they are across our district. We have currently 6 counselors that work across our district. They also, you'll see the spaces where they are crossed out up there. Those are, some of those are assigned to Midlothian as well. So they work in those districts on those days. But you'll see across all of our campuses that we do have licensed counselors. We have someone 5 days a week at Waxahachie High School. Those are our highest numbers. And then 2 days a week at each of our junior highs and Global High School, which is up there in blue. Now, I gave you this piece of paper so that you can see the data, because it's really hard to see up there. But these are our amount of counseling sessions that Next Step has provided over this school year. So you'll see they have seen 429 clients across our ISD, with that being 3,168 sessions that they have provided for mental health counseling. Now, these students are referred by our campus counselors to see the Next Step counselors. They don't take everyone. They do an assessment on our students to verify their need for a licensed therapist. If they meet those needs, they reach out to the parents, get consent from the parents, and then those students start their counseling sessions. They go anywhere from 6 to 8 sessions, depending on what their need is, on what they need to work on with their licensed therapist. And some of those do need to go back at times, but they provide them with the coping skills that they need so that they can kind of, I never want to say get past, but they can deal with the emotions that are going on with their mental health needs at that time. I was going to highlight a couple of our highest campuses. The highest one, of course, is Waxahachie High School. They have 146 clients there throughout the year that they have seen, providing 912 sessions at Waxahachie High School. And next is Global High School. They have 26 clients, 227 sessions. The junior highs, you'll see Coleman had 29 clients with 240 sessions. Finley, is that Finley? Yeah, Finley with 48 clients, 262 sessions, and Howard with 30 clients and 264 sessions. Our highest elementary campus is Wedgeworth with 29 clients and 215 sessions. So I just kind of wanted to give you a snapshot. Wedgeworth being our highest need campus. Our junior highs are pretty consistent with what we see, also staying with Global, but then our high school with a large number of students there. So the top reasons for referral, I wanted to include those for you guys as well. The behavior concerns were 87, anger 52, adjustment issues 43, mental health concerns 40, anxiety 35, suicide self-harm 34, grief and loss 24, and family dynamics 25. These are just the highest ones. There are other with smaller numbers, but I wanted to just show you where our areas of concern are for our students. They also, Next Steps tracks improvement data, things that we see with those students who have been referred. So you will see there, their attendance from their clients improved 42%, their behaviors 63%, and their grades 44%. Any questions about Next Steps? I'm gonna move on to. And one more, it's free. Free licensed therapists for our students, just as they would if they went and saw a provider out in the community. But they get to see them during the school day, free of charge, and they work around their schedule so they're not pulling them from core classes to see the students. All right, next.
Can we clarify, it's free to the student?
Yes.
The district pays for it.
It is free to the students. Yes, that is correct. The district takes care of that. Yes, that's correct. The next one I'll talk about is Tier 5. So Tier 4, we try to talk about percentages of our students so that people will understand what percentage of students. Our Tier 4 is about 2% of our population that is seeing our therapists on campuses. So it's available to all, but again, it's only about 2% utilize that service. Mind Above Matter is our Tier 5. It's one of our Tier 5 programs. That is the top of our pyramid. That is our most intensive treatment that we have for our students. Mind Above Matter is, they have brick and mortars across the Metroplex, but they are in various school districts: Grapevine, Colleyville, Hearst, Euless, Bedford, and Waxahachie ISD. We are the one school that is the farthest south for them to be a part of. And they, Mind Above Matter, provides intensive outpatient programming or partial hospitalization programming for our students. So this is an after-school treatment program for our students. Again, this is our students who have the most needs for mental health work with their therapists, their licensed therapists. We provide a place for them to go. They go for either 3 to 4 hours, depending upon their programming. Again, they are referred by us, WISD counselors, or the Next Step counselors refer to them as well. They are assessed, and then they determine, based on that assessment, their therapist determines whether or not they'll need 3 hours of care or 4 hours of care. We house this at Coleman. It is currently at Coleman. Our transportation picks the students up at their campuses. It's grades 6 through 12, so they pick them up at their campuses, and then they bus them over to Coleman. They do not go through the front entry. They have a side entry that they use that takes them straight into the clinic, and they work with their therapist there each day till 5 or 6 o'clock. Again, Mind Above Matter works with insurances and Medicaid to treat our students. It's no cost. Waxahachie ISD, there's no cost to us. We just house the facility, and they work with the insurance to provide for our students. The most they can see in programming is 10 students at a time. We run anywhere from about 8, 9, 10 usually is where we run. Right now we are currently we have 5 in programming, but we have 5 that are being assessed for programming. So it's kind of as they finish their programming, which can go anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks, depending on what their need is and what their insurance helps provide. They go from anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. Every day they go to programming. So the most, again, because they have one therapist and one technician that come every day, the most they can have in there is 10. So currently we have 5. We have currently 5 waiting to be assessed. and we've discharged 22 over the school year, this school year that we've been able to service through that program. They also have, once a week, they have music therapists that come and work with our students. They have art therapists that come and work with our students. They also have medication management. So if our students do need to see a psychiatrist for medication, they have someone that provides that for our students as well. Any questions on Mind Above Matter?
When did you start at Kinder?
We started this the second week of September. I think I may have at the last SHAC kind of talked about what we're doing over the summer. They will finish programming here in Waxahachie ISD on the second week of June. Then they are going to bus their students they're coming to pick up their students and take them to the brick and mortars in Burleson is where they will take the students. So the students will not lose their programming over the summer. They will bus them there, and then they will bus them back. They're working with their parents right now to get them signed up for that transportation. So it's not us. It's actually Mind Above Matter who will be coming and picking them up and busing them to the facility. Our hopes are that we won't wait for programming this time. That was trying to get it started, starting with the new school year. With this school year, with 24-25 coming, programming will start when school starts. We will already have students in the system. As you can see, I've got 5 waiting to be assessed. So we won't stop their services. We're gonna let them keep going. Any other questions? It's if you'll talk to any counselor, it's a very much needed program. We don't have any type of IOP or PHP in Ellis County currently. So all of our students, to get that level of treatment, either have to go to Duncanville, DeSoto, Arlington, Fort Worth. So our students don't miss school. Our counselors adjust their schedules so that when they leave at 2, they're not missing a core class, or they get an off period so that they can go to their therapy sessions. Not having to have attendance problems for that.
Ginger, I know you've got some more important stuff you've got to share with us, but can we take a pause just for a minute? We have a Zoom presentation that's going to start at noon. And Sherry, if you wouldn't mind just giving the group a little synopsis before we join the meeting of exactly what they're going to be seeing.
Absolutely. So the Marinette program, I actually attended a presentation that was put on by Crime Stoppers of Houston. And it's a program that they're really trying to implement within the state of Texas. It's actually already in other states, and I believe Fort Worth is one of the first ones that's done it. But basically, it's a partnership between the school district and the local police department. And basically, it's if law enforcement goes to a call that a child is involved, whether it's domestic violence or if there's a death or something like that, then the officer has the ability to go into their system. It would be a program that they would download, but it's where they can go into the system. They would have the child's name, the school that he attends, or she, and what grade level. And law enforcement sends a message to the school district, and then the school district notifies the school, the principal, the counselor, and the student's teacher that this child needs to be handled with care that day. They don't give out any information on it, but it's just kind of a support program that can help kids deal with trauma. I believe he may share with us, I believe it was his mother that was a school teacher, and how this came about was she had a student that was a straight A student, was a real good student, that started having some problems, and they didn't know what was causing it. And it turned out that there were some problems in the home that law enforcement had been called out on several times. And but anyhow, if she had she felt that if they had a heads up, they would have been able to handle that child differently because of like testing and things like that. They weren't aware that there was a problem. They could have allowed the time, a little bit more time or care for that student. But he'll go into it a little bit more detail. But it sounded like an awesome program, and I brought it to Melissa to see if it would be something that we could actually present today. It's done by the Marinette Foundation, and again, it's a free program, and it would be a partnership between law enforcement and school district if y'all decide that y'all would like to do it. Has he connected? Yeah. Okay.
Hi there, I'm Sana, one of the staff members at the Minaret Foundation. How are y'all doing?
Good, thank you.
Awesome. So I'm not sure if the camera's on or if it's working, but if you don't mind giving us a few minutes, I know Sharik, our executive director, he's in between a bit of traveling right now, so he might take just a couple minutes to log on. Oh, perfect. I can see y'all. Okay. Awesome. And I heard, sorry, I had jumped into the meeting a little bit earlier, so I kind of heard you explaining it. Are you Sherry?
I am Sherry. I'm sitting in the middle there.
Yeah, nice to meet you. I had just watched the Crime Stoppers webinar recording, so I kind of heard that y'all were talking about it. So I'm so glad, we were able to get connected in this way. And I know we're excited to talk a little bit more about Handle with Care and how we can start implementing it into your school district and some of the schools in particular.
Okay. Yeah, currently it's not being implemented anywhere in Ellis County, but it was something that they were looking to try to bring to our area. There's actually, I believe he shared that there's, and I can't remember, there's a place, I think in southern Texas, that's actually going to be doing a training that would provide an online training for people to go in and get more details on how the program would actually work.
Awesome.
Yes, it'll be done in, we're doing a coordinated training with Williamson County Sheriff's Office. We'll be recording the training itself for law enforcement officers, for educators, and for educators, and then for social workers as well. That way they have a good understanding of what Handle with Care is, but also complete sort of the onboarding process. Because who has time to schedule a training for 100 people on X date when everyone has something to get to anyway? So they can take their online training at their leisure.
Thank you for joining us, Sharik. If you'll just I just kind of a very brief, outline, but if you don't mind sharing what Handle with Care is. You've got a room full of, we've got counselors here, community members, law enforcement, and things, but we would love to hear more about your program.
Terrific. Well, just a little bit about us. My name is Sharik Ghani. I'm the executive director of Minaret Foundation. Thank you for having me. I'm here in Omaha right now at a conference, and partly we're here speaking about Handle with Care as well. But what Handle with Care essentially does is it creates a communications conduit between law enforcement and schools. So if a child experiences trauma outside of the school system, law enforcement has a way, has a mechanism to notify the schools. It's a one-way line of communication. So it's not a partnership between law enforcement and schools, because a partnership would entail two-way communication. This is just a unilateral communication. It's just a communication, a notification system, if you will. So our teachers and our educators can be more informed of what's happening in their own classrooms.
All right, good deal. Okay, we do have a little bit more time. I was trying to share, I believe, is it your mother's story on how it all came about?
I can mention that. My mother is a 24-year Alief ISD retired teacher. She taught 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. There was a time where a child was an AB student in her class, and then one day he just started slacking off in class. His assignments didn't get turned in. He fell asleep. He'd be tardy, extra bathroom breaks. I mean, you name it. Every kind of trauma, every kind of symptom of trauma that he could exhibit. And he started bullying another child, so his behavior started to modify. But she tried to call his parents, and parents would never pick up the phone, send an email, no responses whatsoever, until one day the child was late to the school bus, missed the school bus to exit to get home, and his aunt had to come pick him up. My mother confronted the aunt on the driveway of the school. The child's father was shot and killed, and he died in the arms of his son 3 weeks prior. The day before all the trauma symptoms started coming out. So his dad died in his arms, and he's in school the next day. Just the situation at his home. But there's no way for my mother to find out what was going on. So if we had had Handle with Care at that time, my mother and the AP and the counselor would have received a Handle with Care notification. Now, the Handle with Care notification wouldn't have mentioned that there's a homicide. It would have just said, handle this child with care, because what we're looking for in the Handle with Care program is not active intervention. It's give the child enough room to grieve, to process their trauma. And so that could be just through makeup exams, additional homework if they want, reduced homework, more bathroom breaks, allow them time to go to sleep during class time, and give them the leeway that they need. And if it's necessary, then to send them to the counselor's office.
Okay.
So it's a passive intervention model.
So how would it actually work for the school district and our local law enforcement?
The responding officer is at the scene of a homicide, a suicide, family violence, aggravated assault. It could be a accident with fatality, eviction, arson, any kind. It's subjective to the responding officer, where they feel that the child has endured some level of significant trauma. They would collect their name, age, and school name, go into their terminal on their computer in their vehicle, fill out a form. Takes just a few seconds to fill out the form, and once they hit that send button, it gets routed to a server. It goes straight to the school, and the school could have some school districts have a site coordinator, some have the AP is designated, or the AP secretary that's designated as the contact, and that individual will distribute the Handle with Care notice to the appropriate people. Once that Handle with Care notice is logged, it expunges at the end of the year. Depending upon how each school district wants to do it. Some school districts are keeping it all the way until the child graduates. Some do it to where it's done in 6 months. Some do it to where it's done at the end of the school year itself, right? But at that point, once the officer puts in the information, their job is done. Now it's on the school district. So what many school districts do is they monitor the situation passively. But if a child has multiple Handle with Care notices, we've seen this across the board, multiple Handle with Care notices in a matter of 2 to 3 months, then they proceed to match the child up with their local counselor and provide them with the support that they need.
Okay, good deal. Can you tell us who in Texas currently has been utilized in the program?
So many. So San Antonio ISD is doing it. Fort Worth is doing it. We're doing it with the HISD, LaPorte. We're doing it all the way in Brownsville. We're about to get started up in El Paso. Many school districts such as Klein, Tomball.
I think you mentioned Burleson was coming on.
Fort Bend ISD. So in North Texas, it's Denton. And we're just expanding the presence in North Texas right now with our friends at Meadows Mental Health Institute. We're very active in the North Texas area.
Okay, good deal. Well, thank you.
And by the way, I have to mention, this program doesn't cost a dime. There's no funding component to it whatsoever. The way this program gets enacted is if the ISD is on board, then we match with a local law enforcement agency, and we started off as a pilot, not system-wide. So 1 or 2 feeder systems, 1 or 2 precincts or areas, patrol areas, and then we expand the pilot from there.
Okay. All right, good deal. All right, does anybody have any questions? All right. Well, thank you so much for presenting to the program to us today. And as I said, I will be making some connections for you throughout the county and see what we can get done on that. And we really appreciate you being here with us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I love what y'all do, and God bless you all. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at any time.
All right, thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you so much. All right, Melissa. All right, thank you. Ginger, would you like to complete yours now? Oh, I'm sorry. You had a question? I can connect you with him.
It's okay. It's okay. Thanks. We're a little all over the place, huh? Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, our next tier 5 that I'm going to talk about is our MST. This is our first year that we partnered with North Texas Behavioral Health Authority. They came and presented at the beginning of this school year to talk about the MST. Multisystemic therapy is a 3 to 5 month program that North Texas Behavioral Health, they assign a therapist to the entire family, and they work with the whole family unit. They work with the student in their schools, they work with their student in their community and in their home. These are for, again, our very small percentage of students who utilize this programming. We do a referral through Mind Above Matter. We've referred through Next Steps, and then our counselors refer to them as well. It's for grades 6 through 12. It's for our students that we see that are frequently finding themselves in a behavior situation, whether it be at DAEP or maybe even JJAP. Said it fast enough. These are for those students who can utilize this multisystemic therapy program. Again, it's ages 12 through 17, so it's our 6th through 12th graders. But because they work with the whole family unit, we have found some ways that our elementary students can benefit from this as well. If they have a sibling in one of the upper grades, we're able to refer that family under the siblings information. The average length of time that they work with the students is 3 to 5 months. It's a very intense program. You can see I've got our referral numbers down there. They've had 11 referrals from Next Steps or Mind Above Matter. They're currently servicing 5 families, and then we have 3 families on the waiting list. They can only service 5 families at a time because the therapist is assigned only 2 to 3 families for each therapist because they're on call 24/7. So when I say it's intense, it is very intense. So each therapist can only have 2 to 3 families that they work with. So far, we've had 2 successful discharges. I asked them what does constitute a successful discharge. They've seen a decrease in behavior for at least 4 consecutive weeks, improvement in the family functioning, and a decrease in the aggression, noncompliance, or substance abuse, if that's what the student is utilizing MST for. Any questions on MST? Okay. And then the last one is our Care Solace program. Care Solace is we kind of like to think about it as our wraparound services because it actually, we utilize it across WISD. It is for our students, it is for our faculty, and is for their families as well. So it extends out beyond just our students, and it allows all of our staff and their families to utilize Care Solace. Care Solace is a mental health matching program. When a person calls in to their call center, they are they get to speak with a person who does a brief assessment with what their needs are, and then they connect them with that person with the correct type of counseling they need, whether it's intense counseling, whether it's maybe that they do need to go into a placement facility. They will assess that person on the phone and then connect them with the persons that they connect them with the resources that they need. And here's our year-end report from Care Solace. Currently, or throughout the year, they've had 67 cases. They had total communications are 4,201. Total appointments that were made using Care Solace is 26. And then anonymous searches, you can also search through Care Solace anonymously. You do not have to go through a counselor. We have a website that we have a QR code that we've posted all around our district that someone can scan in, and they can do it all anonymously and find the resources that they need, that they don't have to go through our HR department or one of our counselors as well. So we've had 73 anonymous searches through the Care Solace website. They also like to talk about time saved. Us as counselors, this takes away a responsibility of ours that we are able to use someone to help connect our family with the resources that they need. So currently to date, or couple of weeks ago, I guess it was. We are looking at 101 hours have been saved that they've been able to take off of our counselors' plate so that the counselors could do other duties in the schools, and then they can connect them with the resources they need. Also listed there, and I gave it to you on your paper because it is so hard to see what we're seeing the referrals for. And you'll see anxiety is the highest, depression, trauma, ADHD, disruptive behavior. So those are listed there as well for you to see of what the referrals are.
I have a question, Ginger.
Yep.
The kind of low number of total appointments, is that reflective of a shortage of providers? Or
So that the parents, sometimes they don't follow through. So they'll call the call center. That's why the total communications is so high. They connect them with the resources, and then if they don't follow through or they don't make the appointment, that's kind of where it ends. So unfortunately, it's put on them at that point to make the appointments. If they use, if they go through a counselor, we have a dashboard and we can watch, we can kind of see how that referral is going. Those, you know, again, unfortunately, they don't have to follow through, so. Oh, sorry, I went on to the demographics without, there's the demographics page that talks about even the gender, age, and ethnicity of what we're seeing our calls coming from, and then the mental health. Any questions on Care Solace? That's it for Care Solace. And it is free of charge to our families, staff, and their students to use. The school district does pay for that. And then the last thing is, all of this can be found on our WISD counseling webpage. We have all of our resources listed. I have some links on there that will connect a family to a brief assessment, even if they would choose to do it on their own, just to kind of see, gauge their own mental health, or a student's mental health is listed there. So all that's on our counseling webpage. Any questions? On my counseling.
Ginger, your highest percentage of the kids are 3 to 11 that are utilizing it? It's
Care
ages-
Solace?
Uh-huh.
Yes, the reason why is we don't have a lot of resource. You'll see all of our resources are secondary heavy, grades 6 through 12. So what we find is that our elementaries, and Ms. Mott can talk about this as well, we don't have a lot of resources for our younger students, elementary. That's not WISD. That's just how the mental health world works. When you drop below the age of 7, pediatrics has to be involved, which is a whole different level of insurance when I'm talking to Mind Above Matter, because I've talked to them about possibly bringing a younger programming into our district. So if we did do younger programming, we would still only be able to start at age 7, because you go below 7 and it's pediatrics.
Okay.
So I believe the reason we see that on there is parents of those ages, they need to go find resources.
Yeah.
So that's probably why we're seeing that's the highest.
Okay.
what about the MST? Is there any hope of it going younger?
Not to my knowledge. That was started, that came out of Uvalde, the state. If y'all, they came and spoke. 6 grants were given across the state of Texas to pilot the program, and Ellis County is one of those. I really don't know if it would go any younger. I don't know, because it's really working with the juvenile system as well. So,
Okay. All right.
good question.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else? Okay.
It just says that you're gonna talk about the changes to the sexual health education.
I am.
That's next.
Yes.
Sorry.
I promise. So, my next topic, everybody's favorite. So 2 years ago in legislative session, it was passed that every student that would receive any type of human sexuality instruction through our counseling programs has to opt into programming. That went through legislative session and it passed. So for the last 2 years, we have had to opt in. We have seen a huge decrease in our students who participate. I see Katie back there shaking her head because it is the same opt-in for our human trafficking and child abuse awareness programming. So we watch those numbers. Katie will tell you, we sometimes she only teaches to one student during a class time period because students, we have a theory. I don't think those papers are going home to their parents. Typically, what happens when you get into high school is those notes to parents or parents seeing a letter about opting in is not being viewed as much as in elementary when you can pin it to their back or put it in their backpack or their folder. So as we move up into high school, we're not seeing that the parents are getting that information to opt in for programming. So we saw our programming drop off drastically for human sexuality instruction, which is our Choosing the Best program, and then for our human trafficking and child abuse prevention. So with all that said, when the law was instated, and Mr. Arlenshine's going to help me if I mess this up. When the law was instated, it was passed and it was set to expire on August 1st of 2024. From what I've seen, I've reached out to Region 10, they're talking to TEA. It does not look like that passed to go any further past August 1st. So we believe that it expires on August 1st. We will all not be together, obviously, before the start of school. So I need to talk at SHAC here and ask you guys to give your feedback, to get a vote on whether or not we as a district feel do we need to continue to opt in or can we go back to opt out? And I'm seeing one of my counselors back there too, because we see the impact that it's making that our students are not allowed to go to programming, that they're not going to programming. So before we had opt in, we had opt out. The parents still get the same letter, but this time they don't have to return it to say that they can see the program. They return the letter if they don't want them to see it. So they still receive the same opportunity to view the curriculum, to come meet with me, come meet with a counselor, a nurse at our elementary ages, because we start programming in 4th grade, talking about our bodies and what the
Parents can even view the video we show. So, I mean, it's very transparent.
So we would like to know, I am requesting that we go back to the opt-out versus the opt-in. So to the fullest extent allowed by the law, if we do find out that it expired on August 1st, we would like to, we still want our parents to be, I value when parents come up and look at the curriculum, and we do. We have parents that come up and look and they call and they are very curious, and we want them to. We want them to be involved. We just want all of our students to have the opportunity to see it rather than depending on a note to be returned by their parent with written consent, because that's the way the law currently reads, that they must have written consent. So it's a letter.
So Ginger, we need to do an action item and get a motion to move.
My concern, and maybe Lee can help me, is my understanding is we have to have a 51% community quorum to take a vote on something, and we don't have that today.
Well, the membership of the SHAC is supposed to be 51%.
True.
Ultimately, we're going to be making a recommendation to the board. So I don't have a concern about SHAC taking some action today to push this then as a part of Ginger Robinson's report or your report on behalf of the SHAC to the board in June or July seeking this action.
So we're just voting on a recommendation to the board, so
That we would ask the
they'll ultimately make the decision. Okay, all right.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Thanks, Mr. Robinson.
So we need to ask our SHAC committee that's here today.
If we can put it on as a discussion item with our school board.
Okay,
So, but do you have any concerns? Maybe I should open it up that way.
Okay.
Any concerns, any thoughts on this? Anybody want to speak to it? Katie, I'll let you.
I just want to say that the average age of victims across the board is age 14. We had 36 confirmed cases of child sex trafficking here in Ellis County last year, and 20 of those kids were 14. The reason I bring that up is because we need these children, because their parents don't know how to teach them child abuse prevention and awareness and things like that, but also the sexuality aspect of that too. We need them to have a little bit more information earlier on so that we can prevent, all that stuff from happening.
Yeah.
And the opt-in form, like Ginger said, severely decreases the amount of kids coming in. Also taking away a lot of the children who actually really need to see the programming. Those are the parents who are probably not really paying attention and signing their kids up. So this alleviates that issue, and we can get them that prevention education, despite those barriers.
Thank you. Katie sees it firsthand. Laura? Oh, I'm sorry. Other Laura. Behind you, Laura. Sorry, Lord Northcutt.
But what we've noticed is that parents didn't even, as you say, get the notification.
Yep.
So we would have our teachers call parent, and they're like, oh, we didn't know we had to return it. So they were reading, most of them were reading this opt out anyway.
Yep.
So we would make them, we would have them send us something.
Yep.
But the parents aren't.
Thank you. Laura's my counselor at Howard. It's okay. So, and there, Katie is from Ellis County Children's Advocacy Center and teaches our classes in our classrooms at Waxahachie High School Global, and then our junior, we're moving it to junior high as well. And then Laura, of course, is at Howard. And so they see the direct impact of what's happening with our students not being able to see these programs. It's unfortunate because they need this education. And in choosing the best, it's not just our human sexuality program. We talk about setting goals. We talk about making good choices. We talk about knowing who are your true friends and who are maybe grooming. We talk about that in choosing the best as well. So when they're not getting those programming, we're missing a piece that our students are not getting. So I can plead my case for opt.
I have two things. Just FYI, at the elementary level, the permission slip that goes home says yes or no. So that is basically an opt-in. We don't ever present the material to any student at that level that we don't have a permission slip for.
For fourth and fifth grade.
For fourth and fifth grade. And then the second thing I wanted to say is several of us were at a safety training at Region 10 recently. And the thing about human trafficking that I was unaware of, and it may have just been me, but how frequently individuals are trafficked within their own family. So familial trafficking is a big thing. And these kiddos need to know what that is and what that looks like, because they're victims of something that they may not even really understand what it is. So that's all. That's it.
Okay.
So we
Laura.
did have a motion
Laura
from
Northcutt.
Laura. Okay, so the motion is for this to be presented to the school board, is that how you?
The motion would be that SHAC recommends, to the extent allowed by law, that we would move away from an opt-in provision to an opt-out
opt-out.
provision for sexual education, human sexuality education.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so we have a first and second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay.
Okay, that's it for me.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, Ginger. Okay. So next we have our WISD security update with Lieutenant Christopher Dickinson.
You want us to get your presentation ready? He loves all the papers I brought. He told me.
I can't keep up with all the colors. I wish I had a vape chart and it looked just like yours through the roof with lots of colors. But in all seriousness, I want to say that that's the work y'all are doing is fabulous. We know from our side of it that mental health and drug use go hand in hand, right? Heavy drug use usually involves mental health, usually involves suicidal behaviors, and you know, that's good work you're doing, identifying it early. I know our team, when we identify, we pass over, and they do a fabulous job of following up and everything. So I'm saying something nice. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. He usually does.
I use it. Normally I tell her she ruins my day, but no. From our side, no. I mean, we're at the end of the school year, and we are excited. It's been a fairly good school year. We did metal detectors and dog this morning. And Belvis, you want to give us the results of how the morning went?
Went pretty good. I mean, we had over 800 students we checked, only one hit, no fines. That's pretty much our morning for us, the metal detector drug dog is concerned. Today we kind of incorporated them both together. We normally just do metal detectors in the morning, but this morning we also threw in the drug dog, so we were able to search more bags and not the actual students, but bags. And they were able to clear through the metal detector in a faster amount of time to get it done. So pretty good.
Yeah, no, fabulous job this morning by the team. He did. He threw the double whammy at them, the dog and the metal detectors. But, I mean, it works, right? Found nothing. And you can say what you want, but that works. And if we can continue to do that, and we will continue to do that, I think we're making a difference. You know, that's that uncalculated number of what did we stop. We'll never know, right? But I can tell you it's a bunch, right? As we go into summer, of course, you know, I worry about these kids. You know, we're not there to keep them in check per se, and that's when you see, you know, mental health issues, drug use, and that kind of thing. So make sure you push. You know, we do the tip 411 stays active, right? They can still report to us. It's monitored. We can get help to these kids throughout the summer if we need to, whatever it may be. I don't have much else other than that. Does anybody have any specific questions about anything that you've heard?
I do. I keep turning on my microphone, don't I? Were you familiar at all with the Minaret program? Had you ever heard of anything like that?
No.
No? What, do you have an opinion about it?
I don't have an opinion that I want to state publicly yet.
Okay.
Because I don't know enough about it.
Okay.
I think it's a good idea, but I'm not, there's a lot of logistic things that I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's mainly why I thought, I wanted your opinion.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, I'm all about any way we can help kids. I think we need to do it. I just see some logistical problems that we have to kind of hammer out there.
Okay, good.
I have a question.
Oh, no.
You made a comment about the tip 411 being open throughout the summer. Is there a plan already in place? Do you have a plan? How will we let the students know that that is an option throughout the summer?
Yeah, I don't know. We push out the messaging. Here it is, anonymous tip. You can put it in all the time. I'm not sure how else
Do we need
to
to
push
put
it out.
Square?
I mean, any messaging is good. We can have maybe Jenny and the team push that out via social media. I think through the it's on the website. Of course, kids don't only check the website much. I think that's a good idea. The Parent Square, whatever forums. I don't know if y'all have communications of some sort.
I was gonna say, for the summer, we have a communication that goes about mental health and how to still refer for mental health services, so I could add that on there.
Yeah.
Does that go to the students? It does. Like if they reach out to one of us, it automatically just, it's an automatic, basically an automatic response, so I could add to
Yeah, no, I think that's great. That works well if it's, you know, somebody else reporting somebody, because you can get a name. You know, a lot of times the anonymous reporting of mental health is just, I'm feeling suicidal, I want to hurt myself. Well, we don't know who you are, right? And it becomes frustrating to try to figure out who are you and communicate back. But yeah, no, I guess we can push it out. in different ways.
I was just saying, we could do an email like that goes out for happy summer, and here's still if you, that could go to all students, that we could, maybe even each, I don't mind, even July 1st, we do another one.
Yeah.
Just so that it stays on their radar.
Yeah.
I don't mind doing that.
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. I could do that.
All right. Thank you, Sherry.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have the WISD Health Update with Melissa Bousquet.
First of all, thank you to everybody who braved the rain to come today. I was worried there was going to be a sea of empty tables, and you guys are here. Thank you so much. Not much as far as from the nursing end. We did have School Nurses Week here last week, and I tell you, every campus I went on, the nurse had this either beautiful basket or flowers or food or something there to honor them. So I think our nurses felt very appreciated last week, and we're very grateful for that. As far as health goes, one thing we're looking at, and Rebecca's not here, I was hoping she could share a little bit of this with you, but we are looking at trying to get a shot clinic again. We haven't done one in several years, since even before COVID, because to be honest with you, they were very poorly attended. So we're hoping that maybe we can arrange it in conjunction with our first day of school, Operation First Day of School program. We're hoping we can get that again, and that a lot of families can utilize that service. So that's one thing we're looking at. Next is drug testing. We had drug testing in April, and I'll just give you a brief rundown of the results. We did have 9 positives at the high school, and 8 positives at Waxahachie High School, and the first positive we've had all year at Global. So they were all marijuana. 3 of them were new, brand new marijuana positives. 3 of them were second positives. And then 2 of those positives were positive, but the number had gone down. So they would be considered negative, because that means those kids are not continuing their use. But the good news was we did have 3 students who had been positive previously in the year that tested negative completely. So that was good news. So hopefully the idea is we're making progress in that area, even though a kiddo may get, caught at one point, that hopefully that moment in time from then forward that they'll make better decisions. And also, as far as drug testing goes, a discussion I wanted to have with you guys today is, for the past 2 or 3 years now, we've been doing a 10-panel test, and I put a list of the drugs that we screen for in that 10-panel test. It's more than 10, but it's because they break down some of the opiates into different categories. And then I also did a list of the 5-panel test, which is what we did previously. We went from 5-panel to 10-panel because we were concerned we were missing some stuff. Well, since we went to the 10-panel, we have not had any positives from that increased panel. In fact, we just pretty much just have marijuana positives. So far, anything can happen. We occasionally get a meth positive, but every time it's been a student that has been taking an ADD medication. So that's considered negative. If you go back down to the 5-panel test, you'll see it tests for marijuana, which is our main problem, cocaine, different opiates, not all of them, but some of them, amphetamines, and then PCP. I will say, just to give you all the information, we have, there were 2 students at the high school this year that were saved by Narcan. So that's out there. Do not doubt it. It is definitely out there. We have problems with other things. So that was not a marijuana positive. Obviously, that was an opiate positive for those students, or the Narcan would not have worked, and it did. So it did happen twice this year. I know there's a lot of bad stuff coming into our country. So just be aware of all those things. Do y'all have any thoughts on that?
What's the difference in cost between the 10
Oh, I meant to look that up and I didn't. I believe, if my memory's correct, it's like $3 to $5 a test is the difference. Do you know, Ryan? You don't know. You don't ever look at lots of stuff, do you? If my memory's correct, it was like $3 to $5 a test. So that's a kiddo. We test about 100 kids a month. So, the cost savings would be there, but I'm not sure in the big scheme of things, it's huge. I don't know. I hate to say things like that in front of Ryan, but it's just how you guys feel. What do you think?
Would the kids necessarily know that they're not getting tested for other things?
No. And they never knew that we increased from a 5-panel to a 10-panel, so.
Do you know how many times, how many different drugs in the 10 panel have been detected?
None. None that were not in the 5-panel.
Okay.
0.
And part of the reason we went to the 10 panel is because we weren't getting any hits on the 5 panel. So we thought, I was part of that committee, we thought, oh, we need to increase our panel because this isn't working. Well, we've increased our panel and it's still very fortunate that we just are not finding the problem. So the whole reason the committee wanted to increase was to the 10 panel. Now, after 4 years of it, hasn't shown to be conducive of why we chose it. So why we
Yeah. We always want to be good stewards of our district's funds, no matter whether that's a big number or a small number. So we are trying to be good stewards.
per test, right? And how many tests do we give each time?
About 100.
So,
I mean, it does add up some over time. We test October through April. So that gives you an idea kind of. Yeah, I included the junior highs, yes. The junior highs have had 0 positives this year. And in the last couple of years, they would have a marijuana positive here and there, but we have not had any at the junior highs this year. So, we're realistic. We know that there are a lot of kiddos out there that are not involved in anything that would put them into the drug testing pool. And these 2 kiddos that were saved by Narcan, they were not in anything. So they were not on the radar at all as far as I think both were new to the school district. So, there's a huge group of kids out there like that. I'm so thankful for Narcan. And this lady has been very instrumental in making sure we have it. So don't want to have to use it, but boy, we're sure glad we have it when we do need it.
I was going to ask too, do y'all put it in where if a student was to find somebody, they knew where to go?
Yes, we have it with our other emergency things in our AED cabinets, yes. We opted to start that this year, so we are including it there. Yes, ma'am. If a student is involved in an extracurricular activity or they drive on campus, they are placed into our drug testing pool. I send that list of students to the drug testing company. They have a randomization software. They run the names through, and each month they generate a list of names. So the district really doesn't have anything to do with who is tested. I've even had teachers or other staff members come up and say, hey, I'm worried about a certain kiddo. Can we make sure they're on the list this month? And I can't do that. it has to be completely randomly selected. Even if they're involved in something, I can't just place them on the list. We try to make it as fair as possible. And just as a reminder, if you're positive, it does not go into your record at all. It is kept very private. We just try to support them with some drug education counseling and just help them through it. Any other questions? All right, well, do I have a motion?
Does this have to go to the board as well?
Yes. This will be part of SHAC's recommendations. For the start of next year.
Yeah, do I have a motion to change from a temp? Christie? I don't think you can. I think you're the one person who cannot.
I'll second.
Okay.
Heather Coe, COE.
Thank you.
You want to take it? I think you're supposed to.
Okay, so we have our motion and our second, so all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. All right, let's see. Okay, so Rebecca's not here for the community involvement. Is there anything else that we need to touch on before we close out the meeting? Any questions or anything else before? Because this is our last meeting for the school year. Oh, the wellness. Oh, did we not have you on here, or did I skip it?
It's 5, it's just before adjournment.
Oh, just, okay.
Saddened by that attempted. So last month, we passed around or made available the Wellness Subcommittee plan. Asked that you look at it at that point and come with any comments or suggestions. I don't have any additional copies of it today. So with that, are there any comments about the wellness plan, any changes, any suggestions from the whole group? Hearing none, I would love a recommendation for us to take that to, I don't want to take that to the board because that's our plan, for us to adopt that plan as written.
I so moved.
Okay.
Thank you. Sydney.
Thank you. The red- Okay, so all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So moved. Thank you. All right. Anything else before we close? So we will adjourn our meeting to, I guess I need a motion to adjourn the meeting at 12:48 today. Ginger made the motion, second. Christie? Okay, all in favor? Okay, thank y'all very much. Y'all have a good summer.